Hey, what's going on? I just want to say hi to all the kings and queens out there. Big apology. This video has been greatly delayed. And, I just got kind of busy and I just kept saying I'll do it next week, do it next week. And then a month had went by. And before you know it, it's the 23rd of January, 2017. So happy New Year's. And I'm back. um, yeah. So I have a lot to catch up on, so let's get right into it. I got a new website. A lot of you guys have reached out to me about the new website. It is still in the works. I'm still working on it. So thank you for your patience. One of the things I'm really proud of is we have this little map feature where you can just kind of click a section of Philadelphia. Right now, it's just all the places I've worked in. We still got places to fill out like Newbold, Point Breeze, Grays Ferry, Girard Estates, Packer Park, and then West Philly needs to be filled out more. Parkside, Overbrook, Winfield, Valley, all this. Still much more work to be done, but this is kind of like the vision I'm going to have. Then we're going to do one for Delaware County, Chester County. Can I just stop there? But anyways, let's get into it. NACA interest rates, just refresh. 3.625. And I kind of want to tell a lot of you guys that I told you so. A lot of people, when interest rates first jumped or first spiked, they just had this assumption that it was going to come back down, and I just wasn't buying it. I think this is going to be the new norm, and I think in 2017 we might see 4%, 4.25, become the new norm even for NACA. So be mindful, be very mindful of that. I still think that overall rates are historically low. Especially if you're someone that's leveraging the NACA mortgage, you're still paying no down payment, no closing costs. There's a lot to be optimistic for, but I just don't feel that rates are going to remain in the threes. I think the 4+ is going to be the new norm. Um, Interest rates for everyone else that's not leveraging the NACA mortgage is right around 4.18, 4.18. I've seen this go all the way up to 4.25, and I've seen it as low as 4 and 12. So comparing that to what NACA is giving you, I mean, there's a lot. Again, there's a lot to be optimistic for. All right. So topics that I want to, kind of knock out today is going to revolve around foreclosures. Foreclosures, REO, bank owned, HUD homes, side that S, short sales, and that S. And really, the questions I want to dig into is where do you go to look for these type of properties? Are these kind of properties worth it? And what are the pitfalls of these properties? And then inversely, what are the benefits of these properties? So let's go ahead and start off by defining the word default, because I'm going to use it a lot just because of the context we're going to be talking about. So pretty much default, when I use that terminology, just means that someone has not been able to keep up with their mortgage payments for an extended period of time. So they're in default. And foreclosure is just what happens after someone's defaulted. The bank forecloses on a property and acquires it and becomes the owner of said property. And that process is called, a foreclosure or foreclosing, whatever the case may be. And all these other words, REO, bank owned, these are just all synonyms of the word foreclosure. HUD homes are similar to that. It just means that um, that an FHA mortgage has been foreclosed on. So FHA is backed by HUD, which is urban development, housing and urban development, and they are the ones that back the FHA mortgages. So anytime an FHA mortgage closes, it doesn't go to a Bank of America or something. It goes directly back to HUD. So HUD homes are just houses that have foreclosed, mainly FHA, that are now going back to HUD. Short sale is a little bit different. Short sale, and the way to really think about it, it's a short foreclosure. You're trying to get there before the process is done, so you're short. You know what I mean? Instead of getting to the full foreclosure, you're short on the foreclosure because you're trying to, if that makes sense. But what a short sale is someone who has defaulted, and they're trying to get the house sold before the bank comes and forecloses on the property. This is beneficial because you kind of save your credit. You know what I mean? A foreclosure will destroy your credit, destroy everything. And it might take you, 4 or 5 years to recover from that foreclosure. Short sale, you might be up and running in 2 years, 3 years. You know what I mean? Max. So it's always advantageous for homeowners if they find themselves in times of hardship that they cannot get out from under to do a short sale if the bank allows it. So a lot of times in you'll see things that are like, approved short sale because the bank has to agree to sell it for a certain price because it's always a loss. It's always going to be a loss. Um, so yeah, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, then please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to really go more in depth as to what any of these things means. But I think for now, what I've given is a great understanding. Really, that you need to understand as a buyer that it's pretty much as you need to know. Anything else too deep, I don't know that you would benefit from it. So, anyways, where to look? So I just want to go over some of the three places that I think are the best places to look. First website is HomePath. HomePath is a great website. Again, this is mainly for HUD homes. HomePath. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. It's a great website. Is homepath.com. Very easy, very to remember. There's also a course here that they give you, which I've taken just for the sake of taking it. Don't really see because it says up to 3% closing cost assistance was your purchase. The reason I don't really have too much faith in this is because in any offer you put, you can request 3%, you can request 6%. So not too sure what their angle is here, but if you have some free time, by all means, indulge. Second website, this is something I definitely use a hell of a lot more than HomePath, is HUDHomestore.com. Again, this lists HUD homes for everywhere, and it's great because you can just type in your state, you can type in the county. Oh, sorry, a yawn. You can you can be it's a good website, and the only thing I would say or that I recommend that you keep in mind is in order to do this you have to have an agent like me um who is registered to put the offers in. So you're going to need what's called an NAID. I'll show you guys real quick. If I go to submit the offer, it's going to ask for an NAID. So you just have to have a company like mine that's already registered in the system to put these offers in, and you'll be able to take it from there. So, and then the last and final place is, through your awesome, friendly real estate agent. Because what I can do on the back end when I'm searching for property for you guys is I can just list that I only want, a specific type of properties. So if let's do Delaware County. What's going on? 2 bedrooms, 3 plus, 2 bath. So, this is showing me that in Delaware County we have 82, um, roughly 82 homes that are foreclosed for whatever reason or another, foreclosure, short sales, blase, 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 that are, and I think I set the parameters that they have to be a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,400 square feet, and you still get a pretty good list. You know what I mean? So that's, you can always reach out to me. That's your third source. Second question is it worth it? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. These are properties that are undervalued. Let's take a look at it. Properties that are undervalued. So this looks awesome. This is in Media, which is a great market. This is in Media, which is a great market. They're asking 165. It's a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath, 60-year-old home, central air, gas heat, eating kitchen, the parking. So this looks like a solid, looks decent for one 165. This looks great. So now is it worth it? Let's go ahead and run a quick comp. Let's just run a quick comp and see what have similar homes in this area sold for, and see if we can figure out if it's worth it or not. Because if it's worth it, then what we'll see is a big difference in price. If this is going for 165, then maybe similar homes, 3 plus. Active would be settled, which means they've already sold. So there are 4 houses that are similar. I think the closest one. So there are things that are less than 0.1 miles away. I'm gonna go with this one because it's a 4-bedroom. This is a 4-bedroom. So this is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Let's go with the 4-bedroom, 2-bath. 4-bedroom. Oh, even a 3-bedroom goes for, so 2-bedroom. So 3-bedroom went for 245, and it's 0.1 miles away. Let's see. Where's that? 3-bedroom, 245. So this is this property here, right? 235 Brackle Lane. It's right here, Brackle Lane, and then it looks like up the street and around the corner is this property that sold for 245. So let's go ahead and compare and contrast it. And again, what I'm trying to determine is or show you guys is that foreclosures are definitely worth it 9 times out of 10. So this one sold for 245. It's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 1,400 square feet, 60 years old. 3-car parking, central air, gas, heat. So it's very similar to this one, except this is a 4-bedroom. But it's a 2-bedroom, 1,400 square feet, 60 years old. 60 years old, right? So they were built literally the same year. Taxes are 459, taxes are 436. Penn-Delco School District, Penn-Delco School District. We got 2.22 acres, 0.24 acres. 1466 on the square feet, 1427 on the square feet. These things are super duper identical, very very identical, and this is, I couldn't have planned this any better. This is just, I just did this on a whim, but this is phenomenal. Great, dude. This is 165 and something sold for 225. So if I'm just conservative, if I'm super conservative, I can say if I buy this for 125 and I put like 20 grand into it to do renovations, and for 1,400 square feet, 20 grand should get a lot done. Let's say you do 30 grand or something like that. So you do 30 grand into it. Let's say you do 40 grand into it. You got 40 grand into it. So now you're at 121, 205. If this sold for 245, you in essence have $40,000 in equity. You know what I mean? In essence, you have $40,000 worth of equity. So that tends to be what happens with foreclosures. You tend to have a distressed property, deferred maintenance because it's been vacant for a while. Let's look at the inside of this stuff. And mainly it's all cosmetics. A lot of times it just tends to be a lot of cosmetic works. Like, this is all cosmetics to me. I mean, an ID renovation. So, perfect. This kitchen is perfect. As long as the structure is intact, there's no smoke damage, no fire damage, no mold mildew damage. Everything is really cheap to kind of replace. Oh, this is great. They had a jacuzzi. That's a big jacuzzi. That's a legit jacuzzi. Yeah, that'd be dope. You can come in here and punch it out. And something like this, dude, 20 grand will redo everything. 20 grand will redo a lot of things in here. 30 grand will redo it. It's a good heating system. Even if you have to replace the heating system, replace the water heater, replace the heating system, 30 grand, 40 grand, whatever the case may be, you're still good and you still have equity. It's a big backyard and it's fenced in and private all the way down to here, I'm assuming. So this is something that for actually would make a great flip. That I'm thinking about it. It's only been on the market for 3 days. Yeah, that's gonna fly. It's gonna fly right away. But yeah, so is it worth it? Yeah, 9 times out of 10, you do have a really big discrepancy between what similar houses in the area that have sold for. The condition is this property. This house isn't even really renovated, nothing like that. It's very lived in. Look at this. Kids' play toys are still out. Anyways, yeah, a lot of times it's worth it. If you're gonna put up with the headache of work with the hand department and having them do the renovations, and getting someone like me to bring their construction crew, and give us like, a month of just going in here and taking care of everything before you move in, then yeah, sure, it's definitely worth it. You'll have equity, you'll have, renovations that are done to your liking, and I think it's always worth it. Um, so yeah, that answers that question. What are the pitfalls? Um, Pitfalls really kind of fall into structuring the deal. So one of the biggest pitfalls is a lot of times with these properties, utilities have been turned off, right? It's not occupied, utilities have been turned off. And the reason that that's a big deal is when you do your home inspection, which is required by every lender, unless it's conventional and you put 20% down. But when you do your mm, excuse me. So, but when you do your your home inspection means the utilities on to properly check the mechanicals, the electrical, the plumbing, the water. All these utilities have to be on in order for him or her to go in and do a proper, thorough inspection. If not, then they're not going to do job. And if they do decide to do it with the utilities are off, it's gonna really screw over your renovation budget. Because if they go in and they say we can't test the plumbing, we can't test the electrical, we can't test the heating, we can, then all these things are going to be considered a total loss. Total loss means your renovation budget has to, factor in the cost to repair those things. So if you originally were only going to update, the hardwood floors on the first floor, redo the carpet on the second floor, repaint every room, and update the kitchen and bath, where that reno might be 20,000. If you have to do all new electrical, all new heating, all new plumbing, new water heater, that $20,000 renovation is now becoming a 50, a 40, $50 renovations because of all the things that were just assumed a total loss, because they couldn't properly check. And sometimes, if you can't properly check, companies are just going to be like, no thanks. Lenders are going to tell you to go to another property, and that's including NACA. So that's the pitfall of these things, and sometimes sellers don't want to turn utilities on or something like that, you know. Um, there is a typically what I see is utilities are on, or when I do my deals, I definitely negotiate to have the seller turn the utilities on. And the only thing that we pay for is we do what's called de-winterizing. So winterizing, you see this little tape right there. What happens is that they flush the system, plumbing system off of all water, and the reason they do that is to prevent freezing. Right. So in the wintertime, if there's water in the pipes and the property freezes, or the water freezes, it could bust the pipe, causing massive damage to the property. And in order to get it sold, you got to sell it for a lower price. But um but that's de-winterizing it is a fee that typically the buyer picks up, if they want to do the home inspection. And as long as the utilities are on the seller side, then that's definitely something I'd be willing to do. So that is the pitfall. So those are the pitfalls of foreclosures, but I think they're interesting. They're definitely something worth looking into if you're out there searching for a house and you haven't quite found what you're looking for. Buying a foreclosure, short sale, REO, whatever the case may be, might just be the path to take. You know what I mean? Especially since now it gives you renovation money to play with should things need to be updated. Um, and you always have me here. Like I said, I'm going through almost $100,000 in renovations on my apartment building. So if anyone knows the Hatton department intimately, it is me, and I'd be more than happy to walk you through that process. Um, let's check how we're at on time. Can't see it. All right, well, we're hitting the 20-minute mark. I just want to wrap up, make sure I answered all the questions. Pitfalls, benefits. Um, So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything you need to know, if there's anything I didn't cover in detail, shoot me a text message. Be more than happy to, do a follow up video and go in depth. But that is it. Any questions, just feel free to reach out to me. Thanks.